Welcome to the Guitar and Improvisation podcast. Today we're talking about 500 Miles High by Chick Corea. Really fun tune to play and improvise on. I'm going to break it down into its simple elements and talk about some of the nuances and maybe complexities about it. You can also find a video of me playing this exact solo recording on one of my recent videos, Think Less, Play Better. How much should you think when you improvise? Okay, so let's play this solo and then we'll get into our talk. Okay, we have an 18 measure form here. I'm going to pick a few measures to start us out. E minor 7, measure 1. Okay, measure 9, A minor 7. And measure 17, B 7, flat 13. You can also play sharp 9. Why am I picking those out? Well, if we have a blues or really almost any progression, oftentimes we go to the 1 chord. So this would be the 1 chord in E minor, the 4 chord, which would be the A minor, and the 5 chord. And then we can fill in some of the spaces in between as motions that are moving us gradually towards that. So the first half, we have this E minor 7, we go to G minor 7. The root movement is going up by a third, a minor third, and that often gives a clue that some of the tones are likely going to be shared between the various chords. So if we consider the melody of this tune, the melody is actually E at this moment on the G minor. So in addition to G minor 7, we can also consider G minor 6 as being available to us. And what is a G minor 6? Well, one way to look at it is to think of it as an E minor 7 flat 5 over G. Right, so it has a good bit in common with the E minor 7. Actually, if we put an E minor 7 over a G, I'm using my thumb here for the string 6, we have something really very similar. So we have just a B natural versus a B flat. So when we improvise from the E minor, we consider some of the similarities there and then some of the differences. B versus B flat. It carries on like this again. So we go from G minor 7 to B flat major 7. Well, let's take apart G minor 7 again. So thinking in terms of slash chords can be helpful in this respect. So if I'm playing here in position 3 or fret 3, string 6, and then 4, 3, 2, we really have a B flat major triad over G, right? So we know that the B flat major 7 also includes the B flat major triad, so we already have a good bit in common. So let's go to the B flat major 7 here. I'm in position 6. Listen to what that sounds like. Okay, now let's consider again inversion. So if I took an inversion of the G minor 7, let's say the first inversion here in position 5, you get a very, very similar chord, right? So we have B flat, G, D, F, and then compare that to B flat major 7, we have B flat, A, D, and F. Right? So really just one note that is different there. So when we improvise single lines or when we comp, we can consider, okay, what's staying the same and what's changing. And the root movement, as we've gone through these 3 chords, and eventually we will get to that A minor 7, are going up in thirds. Okay. Now this next change is pretty interesting. It's used in quite a few tunes, Benny Golson tunes, maybe Matheny tunes, and others. But here we have B flat major 7. If we go to B minor 7 flat 5, right, we can actually keep the same notes on strings 4, 3, and 2. So again, let's think in terms of slash chords here a little bit. So B flat major 7, we have a D minor triad over B flat. And then B minor 7 flat 5, we can consider D minor triad again over B natural. Okay. B minor 7 flat 5 is functioning as a 2 chord here. We're going up from B minor 7 flat 5 to E7 sharp 9, and this we can consider secondary dominant to the 4 chord, 5 of the 4 chord. Okay, so it settles in on the 4 chord there. So again, when improvising, you can focus on notes that are common to both chords, B minor 7 flat 5 and B flat major 7. Of course, the D minor will serve us well there. Or you can outline a little bit of what changes. So you can consider that as you're kind of building your line, or maybe putting together an etude or something like that. Right. So just to make those little shifts and to make the changes. Now, B minor 7 flat 5 to E7 sharp 9. That's a really kind of well-worn path. So yeah, make sure, we want to keep developing lines on 2 5s and be able to handle that in general. So I won't go too deep into that. So how do we get from A minor 7? And so you can use this as a little mile marker, the A minor 7, we know we want to land on that. And then our next kind of mile marker is going to be the B7 sharp 9. So let's see how we approach that. So A minor 7. Okay. Next chord is F sharp minor 7 flat 5. So let's consider the root movement again. So we have A is going down a minor 3rd. Okay. And then let's consider, so we know that often that leads to a lot of notes in common, depending. But here we have F sharp minor 7 flat 5. We can think of this as a slash chord again. A minor over F sharp, right? So that's another instance where we can use some of those notes to have notes in common, and then also be aware of what notes might change. So the A minor 7 has a G, and the F sharp minor 7 flat 5 has the F sharp. So you can work with that motion. So a sense of awareness of what's staying the same and what is changing as the progression moves along. Here we move down to F minor. So really just one tone in common there. C minor 7. Now this we can think of as a predominant. So oftentimes in minor we have a flat 6 chord. It could be dominant, it could be major 7. So in this case, we can say that at least the root is following with that. Then also consider as we go to this B7, so we made our way to B7, what notes remain the same. You can hear that I'm here on fret 8 playing C minor 7. We have tones on strings 2 and 3 that are going to remain the same, and then these tones on these strings will move down a half step, and then we're right back where we started from. I mentioned earlier that we have a 18 bar form. Oftentimes tunes have some multiple of 4. So this one's kind of 4, 4, 4, 4, 2. And so it kind of feels like it keeps going and going and going, but it really does have that 1, 4, 5 kind of embedded in it. So that can guide our ear and keep us on track. And of course, you can always keep that melody going in the back of your mind's ear as you're moving through it. All right, folks. Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I will mention that there's a video version that is available to our members on fretprints.com. So if you want to look at this one or others, sign up for a free trial at fretprints.com/join. I do have a few additional talks on this tune, and I will be adding an improv play along for this tune. Currently, I'm working on a Nika's Dream chord melody arrangement, and I'm going to feature Nika's Dream in as our tune of the month on the website. So we'll be diving deep into that and learning a bit about melodic minor and when we might use that particular scale. All right, folks, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this again. If you haven't already, join our email newsletter, visit the website, fretprints.com, and be sure to subscribe to me on YouTube as well. All right, folks, well, I'll talk to you all in the next one. Enjoy your practice session.